It's wonderful to be in your presence again. And we appreciate everything that you've done for us and everything that you've given to us in our lives. My question is about the knowing of past and future lives. As the Maori define the past as that which is before us, I believe that knowing where the soul is going helps us to quantify the journey. As you mentioned, from Phoenix to San Diego, if you know the journey, it's good to know about that. To understand the future, is it helpful to understand the past?
Well, when you think in terms of relativity, an awareness of where you've been or where you are and where you are going, all of that is necessary to provide a platform to cause you to focus. Certainly there are wonderful things that you've experienced from your past that you want to keep active in your vibration in order to keep them coming into the future. And certainly things that you've experienced from the past are all part of the defining and the focusing process. So it's just a matter of focus, and whatever tools you utilize to help you to focus, we think are beneficial. For the most part, we notice that there is plenty of information between where I am and where I want to be. And anything that we would dig up or activate from the past would have to be something very wonderful and very good feeling. We would not try to analyze past experiences that were not as we want them to be for the sake of stirring up contrast. Now let us be clear about this. You understand that focusing is what creating is, and that contrast is necessary in order to focus. And so it seems that the ability to focus, the broader the range of information that you are utilizing, then the more you could focus. But when you think about it, when you focus the lens of a camera, isn't it coming into more specifics of where you are? In other words, if you focus out so far, you lose the power of the ability to focus. And so, from our perspective, we think that your powerful now holds all of the contrasting information that is really necessary for focusing. And we don't see very many people going very far into the past and providing themselves with a benefit.
Is the accumulation of the past, of the many lives and the many lifetimes, that which is our guidance system?
We want to take that in another direction and then bring us back round to that. The accumulation of all that I've ever lived is what the powerful present is.
Right.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now ask your question.
Is that the guidance system? Is that the very thing which gives you the guidance?
Not quite, but it's part of it. It's one part of the vibrational relativity. In other words, the guidance system is based upon two perspectives, where I am in relationship with where I'm now going. So, non-physical energy, not looking to the past, but imagining into the future, set you and your physical life experience into motion before you were a physical reality. And then you were born into this physical body with your ability to perceive, just as you knew it would be from non-physical. And now you stand on this basis of life experience in the powerful now, where we all stand, as the culmination of all that we have come to. So all of our paths have culminated into the powerful leading edge place where you stand. And then you, bless your heart, explore contrast and come to conclusions even beyond what you could have concluded from non-physical, because now you are more specifically focused here in this physical body. So you, from your leading edge place, launch another rocket of desire, which Source immediately agrees with. And now the vibrational relativity between all that we have come to and where you currently stand in your leading edge place, that's where your emotional guidance system comes in. So it is accurate to say that you have gone in your leading edge experience into a probable reality that has not yet manifested, that Source has already seen through your eyes. Oh, this is big. We're hoping that you'll leave your unworthiness behind in a discussion like this as you start to recognize the importance of your place here, you see. The more you explore and examine the past, the more you are sure to repeat it, because the more you keep the vibration of it active in your vibration. Yes.
So, in order to quantify this journey in my life from Phoenix to San Diego, the Buddhists talk about nirvana or supreme enlightenment, but you talk about the fact that there's no end, that just continues to grow in contrast and so on. How can I set a goal if there is no end?
Well, you could set your goal to be eternal, and then you'd be right on track. You see, the reason that you come forth into this body to begin with is because you are wanting a framework in which to focus. Focusing is delicious. Focusing is what it is all about. Feel the difference between just looking out at a nebulous something. Maybe it's the sky, maybe it's the ocean. And it can be satisfying to a certain extent, but aren't you happy when a boat goes by that you can look at, or a star, or a comet, or something that causes you to focus? And so, in a similar way, we are all infinite intelligence, but it is the specifics of that which we focus upon that causes the new to be born. And then life is about that delicious relationship between the new being born and our bringing ourselves into alignment with it. In other words, if we are not molding the clay, then our reason for existing ceases to be meaningful or satisfying, you see. And so that we think that the meaning of life, what it is really all about is, so here we are, magnificent beings who are leading edge creators. We're talking about the whole of all of us, still yet wanting to expand into the nitty gritty of the earth, time, space reality for the purpose of being able to focus. In the beginning, as we were visiting through Esther in this way, we talked about the physical you and the inner being you, because we were wanting to awaken you. Most people were not aware of the broadness of who they are. They wanted to believe that there was something before this life, that there would be something after this life. But for most people, it is intangible. And the wild goose chases that you've gone on as humanity, and the stories that you tell, all of these, the religions that come and go, and the religious wars that come and go, all of them are about you trying to find how you fit into all of this. You cannot deny that you exist, because you look around and here you are. But trying to make sense of who you are and why you are here is something that has been going on for a very long time. So we just want to give it to you in the simplest version we can. You are that which we are, and we are that which you are. But we have a different perspective of that which all of it is, and you have a different perspective of that which all of it is. And the combination of these two perspectives is what makes it move forward in the wonderful way that it does. Sometimes people say, well, Abraham, have you ever been physical? Or why do you choose only to be non-physical? And we say, when you think about it, non-physical, whatever the non-physical focus is, must eventually become more than what is non-physical. In other words, first there is thought, then there is thought form, then there is manifestation. So the manifestations that you see around you, the bodies, the things, the earth itself, this physical stuff in this physical universe is the, not end because there is no end, but end product of non-physical energy that is focused. And so in the same way that you can stand in your physical body and imagine something and bring it into fruition, non-physical has been in its non-physical body, so to speak, and has envisioned that which you call planet Earth into the physical manifestation. But you cannot and must not separate this furthest extension of that which is God or that which is Source from the manifestation itself. That's the thing that we see man doing so much in separation. He wants to claim himself as man unworthy and insignificant, while he counts God as the creator as more, when it is not possible to separate the creator from the creation, because the creator is the creator of self. So everything that you see around you is the manifestation of that which man would call God. All this physical stuff is the manifestation of the mind of Source, you see.
Beautiful.
So then you say, well, what part do I play? And we say, well, the part that you play is you are out here on the leading edge. You get to explore the contrast, and you get to fix the toilet. You get to explore the contrast, and you get to watch the war, and you get to dream for an improved life. But once the dream is born within you, you must give your attention to the dream if you are to experience the satisfaction of your dream. But whether you in your body, in this physical form, experience the benefit of manifesting or living the dream that you have launched, still you have launched the dream, and the God part of you, the expanding universe part of you, benefited by the dream that you dreamed, even if you never found a way to let it in for yourself. Future generations will experience the benefit of dreams that this generation dreams, even though many in this generation will not find vibrational alignment with their own dream, because they keep beating the drum of what's wrong as they wish for something better. But then the new ones are born less resistant, and they allow themselves. Esther is visiting with her computer man from San Antonio. In fact, he flew to Oregon to assist her in getting the satellite dishes working in the way that they are supposed to for internet. And he is a teacher. He teaches little children computer. And he says by the time they're 7 or 8, they can have level 1 training, which most computer experts out there that Esther calls have not yet achieved. As Esther is talking to him about things she's wanting to set up for her office, and she's feeling a real little reluctant about whether the girls are up for it, he will say, "Esther, I have 6-year-olds doing this. I think I can teach the girls at the office to do this." In other words, the little ones that are coming into this physical environment are coming resistant free. They're up to speed. They're cable ready. They're ready for whatever it is, you see, where many of you have been saying, "I can't do it," for so long that you can't do it, even though it is certainly doable. Yes.
Thank you very, very, very much.
We have enjoyed this interaction beyond Esther's ability to find words to express. You are powerful creators with powerful questions, and you have been received wholly by that which is us. The answers that we have offered here, we are very happy about, because they have spoken to many of the specifics that you've talked about and felt about in this room. But we are even more exhilarated about the answers that are on your horizon, that you will be attracting and allowing because of your interaction in this gathering here today. This feels to us as if we have primed the pump for so much that is available to you. Be easy about it. We make too much of all of this. Just make a decision to have more fun and be more playful and look for more things to feel good about, and fork yourself into more alignment with more things that feel good, and allow the things that are stacked up outside your door. And we're not only talking about stuff, but stuff there is. But allow those relationships and those friendships and those opportunities and those rendezvous and those points of interest and those fabulous eruptions of ideas within you. Look forward to the goosebumps that will rocket through you, and the clarification that will come over you, and the awareness of your genius that is on your doorstep. Allow yourselves to reflect on yourselves in the loving way that your inner being and that which you call source and that which is us reflects upon you. We want so much for you to get just a taste of the love that we feel for you and the appreciation that we feel for your commitment and willingness to be in this leading edge position, allowing the contrast to inspire you to take us all to places that we have not been before and that we would not go if it were not for your contrasting experiences. You are adding to this world in ways that we cannot express to you, not even if we had many more hours and individual interaction with you. But you will know through the emotions that you feel the power of the work that you are doing. And nothing in all of the universe pleases the likes of us more than you finally get into the place where you are joyfully laughing and allowing yourself to be the personal, right now in this red hot moment, recipient of the desires that you have set into motion. Future generations will benefit by that which you do here today. But we want you in on it, and we want you in on it now.